Eagles Talk on A2D Radio, and as always, we are brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention A2D Radio to get 10% off your in-store purchase. I am back. It's been a few weeks since I have been on Eagles Talk. I've missed you guys, but yeah, I'm glad to be back. Brinks, how you doing? How you feeling, bro?
We're doing good. I had to be the voice of reason last week in your absence, and everything is good. A nice win on the road. They can't run the ball, which baffles me, but I guess we'll talk about that as the show progresses. But Jalen was masterful yesterday, and everything is all good.
Everything is I wouldn't say all good, but it's looking up again. Like there's reason for hope. So yeah, I definitely feel like there's more positive vibes that we can go off of moving forward. So we'll get into why that is and all of that. PY is a maybe. He's a 50-50 to join us today, but Les, as usual, will be joining us in a bit. But let's get right into it. Let's start with our poll question of the evening. As always, this was Jalen Hurts' best regular season performance of his career so far. Agree or disagree? It's an interesting one because right coming off of this, knowing that this was he had a perfect passer rating in this game, and this was a Brian Flores defense, which has been one of the better defenses for years now. So this was no short task. This was a difficult challenge for Jalen Hurts, and he came through with flying colors, no pun intended. But what do you think? Like, if you're looking back, and I'm trying to look back at all the other regular season games that Hurts has played amazing at. But what do you think? Do you think this was his best one yet?
I'll say yes. I mean, he played really good in the Pittsburgh game last year. He's been money in the playoffs, but that's not the poll question. I'll say yes. Perhaps there's some recency bias because it just happened yesterday, and the team was on a 2-game skid, and it wasn't no vibes, no sexiness at all in that 2-game skid. They looked pretty much dead in the water, and they needed a good performance yesterday in Minnesota, and they got it. And Jalen Hurts stepped to the head of the line and delivered. The deep ball was there. The intermediate routes were there. The short routes were there. Everything was there. So they really needed this game. Because 5-2 sounds a whole heck of a lot better than 4-3. And if you're 4-3 with third game, like losing 3 in a row to make you 4-3, the patience that I exhibited last week probably wouldn't have shown up tonight. But I mean, it starts with the quarterback. It starts with number one. That's Jalen Hurts, and he delivered. So I'll agree to the poll. He's obviously had some other good ones, but they needed that yesterday.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. They absolutely did. I'm trying to think of, so I'm going through like all the other regular season games since I guess we can start at 2022 because that was like his coming out party, right? So I was trying to look at all the other ones that he had since then. The only other one that I think like that comes to mind that I'd say is right there, and it's hard to decide between the two, is ironically the other game against the Vikings in 2022. 2022 on Monday Night Football. It's that one because that game was like his coming out party, like his, hey, I'm here, I'm him. I'm ready to now be to establish myself as the franchise quarterback of the Eagles and as one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And like he was on fire that game, both on the ground and through the air. So that game was the other one I thought of immediately. And you mentioned the Steelers game in 2023. There was the one in there was the Bills game that went to overtime.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Really, really good one where it came up late. So there are definitely some to mention and to consider. But I think that if I'm going to look at it, I will say this one. I'll agree to the poll and say this was his best regular season game of his career so far. And the reason why I say that, and I'm going to get into the details of it on Film Don't Lie on Wednesday morning with Pete, as we're going to dive into the film and we'll show exactly what I'm talking about. But there are things that when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I've wanted to see him improve on. I think we talked about it right on this show as we were going into the regular season. We talked about it in the preseason. Like do we want Jalen Hurts to improve? And I think me, you, and Pete PY got into it a little bit. And I was saying how I want to see him do a better job at throwing downfield when he scrambles outside the pocket. And I also want to see him throw to the middle of the field better, right? Because he hardly he doesn't consistently throw to that area of the field, and the middle of the field is really crucial in today's game in terms of being able to access it and really be able to attack defenses. And in this game, there were several plays where he did just that, and you see the fact that he is actually able to do these things. And if he can do this now consistently, almost week in and week out, he will enter and get to another level of his game that we haven't previously seen yet. And I wouldn't put it past him to be able to, right? I wouldn't put it past Jalen Hurts and outside of 2023, every season he's gotten better as a quarterback, and it's very tough to say because when it comes to player development, we know that progression isn't linear, right? It's some players they'll maybe hit like a good incline and then a plateau a little bit maybe for a year or two and then incline again. So there's that. Maybe guys will start their careers really, really bad, hit a plateau and won't see any improvement, and then year 3, year 4, for some reason they'll see an improvement, right? Quentin Johnson is an example of that, right? Quentin Johnson was so bad for years, but now he's legitimately like one of the better wide receivers on that. You could argue like maybe he is the best wide receiver right now on the Chargers. So it's really fun to be able to watch and see Jalen Hurts make these improvements. And I think that if he continues to do these things, it's going to be great. And so I loved it because you have those aspects. And then from a mental aspect, he is just obviously with this being, he's now a seasoned vet and Super Bowl MVP. He's so much smarter now than he was even before. His intellect and the mental side of the game is just continuing to improve. So I really am looking forward to what we can continue to see from him, and from this offense, how it's going to be molded moving forward. So I like we what did you, if you were to pick out one part of this game against the Vikings that stood out to you the most about Hurts, what would you say stood out the most?
It started fast. I mean, what was it? The first drive, he threw it right to AJ on the deep ball.
Yeah.
They started fast, and then I would say the first one to AJ, because you get AJ off right, you get him to shut his mouth, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, he missed a bad deep ball against the Giants, so and he's good at that, so that's surprising. So you start the game off against a good defense on the road, you set the tone, and you got AJ his touchdown early, get that distraction out of the way, and really it set the tone for the entire game. And he did a lot of this from the pocket as well. I mean, he didn't really light the world on fire in terms of running like he's capable of. So that was also good to see that he was able to. I mean, obviously he moved the pocket a little bit with his legs because he can. Why would you not do that if you're capable of doing that? But this was as good a throwing performance as I've seen this season. I mean, perfect quarterback rating, but starting fast after a 2-game skid like that was really important.
Yeah, a fast start. I mean, like we've seen them come into fast starts at certain games this year, and then like kind of slow down, and that's kind of worrying me. Because they after that first drive, they had like 4 straight possessions after that where it was just like 3-and-out, or like that one possession before the half. So that did worry me, but like he was able to kind of like get things going again in the second half, which is really good. But yeah, I think that. I mentioned the stuff I had mentioned before, and it was really good to see him be able to still get the offense going, even with the stuff they had in the first half. And I think that's a good resilience by him, especially in the second half. They didn't run the ball well. They were having success in the first half, and then second half it just went away. So, I think that it was good perseverance by them and the offense as a whole, and we'll see how it goes forward. Let's get to the comments. Get some of these, get some of the chat going. Eagles Uncensored says, agree. Hurts has had plenty of good games in the regular season when asked to pass a bunch, but this was his first Super Bowl play in a regular season, which was nice to see. Let's see here. Mike Marshall says, go Birds. He also says the Minnesota game in 22 on Monday Night Football is another standout I remember. Yeah, same thing that I had said. It wasn't coming out party. Yeah. Tennessee, the game against Tennessee in 2022 as well. Although, like, for obvious reasons, I remember that game more so for AJ Brown, but absolutely, like, Jalen Hurts obviously had a great game that game as well. Mike Marshall also says he's had no running game this year to help either. Yeah, that's another thing. Like no running game to fall back on, but he's able to really he was able to really operate independent of running game success. So that's great to see. Jesse Davis says passing game isn't that different from last year. We ran a ton of come back and post routes and shotgun. We're just missing 2,000 yards rushing. I remember we would get 14 yards on 3rd and 11. Yeah, that the explosive runs are big, like that they're handcuffing the offense right now, and they're struggling to find any type of momentum without that. But if they can do the things that they did against the Vikings, that'll go a long way. And it will also help, in turn, help the running game get going too, because now teams won't be able to load the box as often, which will help, open things up. So Eagles essentially says his ability to spread the ball equally and do it on time. Yeah, that was a big plus. I mean, it was both AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith that got going. So amazing job, amazing stuff by them, and yeah, it was. I liked it a lot. I really liked what I saw from Jalen Hurts. Let's bring in our good friend Les Bowen. Les, how are you? Haven't seen you in a few weeks because I've been out, but
yeah.
Doing well.
Yeah, I'm great, Chux. How are you guys?
We're really good, really good. So let's ask you the same poll question. Both Rob and I agreed, but what do you think? Was this Jalen Hurts? Was this his best regular season performance of his career so far?
I would say so. The thing that struck me was not just the stats, but the clutch throws. They had so many times they had nothing going on first or second down, a few times even on third down, and he just found a way to get it downfield and get them a long, third down conversion, fourth down conversion. That's very, very difficult. I haven't seen much of that from anybody. In fact, I was realizing after the game when they said there were only 3 158.3 perfect passer rating performances in Eagles history. I was realizing I covered the first 2. I'd kind of forgotten that was the deal, but it was McNabb in 2007 against the Lions, and then the Nick Foles 7 touchdown game at Oakland. And even those two games, like 7 touchdowns is 7 touchdowns, but Nick was throwing to guys that were just running wide open down the field. There weren't a lot of – it was a blowout win. There weren't a lot of – he wasn't saving the team's bacon every 3 or 4 series. I just thought it was – he and the receivers were the only thing that was working for the Eagles offense yesterday. And I think that makes it, to me, his best regular season performance, because he kind of had to put the team on his shoulders. People talk about that a lot, but I think we actually saw it yesterday.
100%. 100%. And I alluded to before you had come on that he didn't have a running game to kind of not fall back on, but to help him, right? So, like, he's literally just doing it.
The running game made it harder, made it 2nd and 12. I mean, geez, Louise. And don't want to get off topic, but I can't understand why they can't fix this.
It's a multitude of things, and I keep saying, like, I keep seeing people online, try to pinpoint one thing, and say, "Oh, it's the offensive line, it's their execution, and how bad enough they're be." And then other people say, "Oh no, it's the play calling, it's Kevin Patula." Like, it's if you're gonna really be honest, it's both. It's not just one thing. The injuries to Dickerson, and then Jurgens not running, not being as good as he was, and then Steen not being the mauler that Becton was. That's gonna hamper it. And then obviously you also have the Kevin Patullo factor and the play calling factor that it doesn't help when it's predictable, and it doesn't help when you keep calling run concepts that don't help out your struggling offensive linemen, So, the offensive linemen, they're not executing, but I think we talked about it weeks ago, I forget which game it was against the Bucks. If the defense can have 7 or 8 in the box and just tee off right off the snap because they know you're going to run it, I mean, it doesn't matter how many blockers or how good the blockers are going to execute their blocks. They're not going to be outnumbered. So, like, those things factor in. So it's a bunch of stuff. But I watched the film today, and I'll definitely have like more detail about it. Me and Pete will talk about it on Film Don't Lie, which again, it comes out on Wednesday morning. So catch us on Wednesday morning to do the film deep dive of this game. But the passing game did definitely a lot of things. They did, especially when it comes to under center play action. They introduced that concept. That was like a point of emphasis this game. So it was really good to see, hey, like, they're actually doing new things. So I liked a lot of what I saw from the passing game, specifically in the second half. But I'll pose this question to you guys now. So considering that the run game still can't get going, do you see this still as the offenses, like the situation there are now? Do you see it as glass half empty, as in, like, you're still concerned and you're afraid this offense can still disappear, a half at a time on any given week, or do you think it's half full, that they're improving and you expect these things to continue to get better? Brinks, let's start with you. Half full or half empty?
Definitely half full. Like, teams don't care that Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball better than he ever has. They're still loading the box. They're not letting the Eagles beat them on the ground. Like, that's just I don't know what you do about that, because if it's 8 against 5, it doesn't matter if you have all pros at every O-line position. It's math. Like, it's just
math
not going to work.
Yep.
It's not going to work out. So, I mean, until these teams start respecting Jalen more and not loading a box against our run game, I think it's going to be more of the same. I mean, look, does Saquon Barkley stink now? No. Like, can they not run the ball because Mekhi Becton is playing for a different team now? I don't think that's the case. They should be able to be fine with Tyler Steen in there, even though he's not as good as Mekhi Becton. Dickerson's been hurt. Jurgens, I know he had surgery in the offseason. Maybe he's not all the way there yet because he's not – Mailata's not playing as well as he did last year. Why is this? Lane Johnson has missed portions of games. So, like, I don't know. Maybe they need a bye week. I don't know. But they're 5-2, and they haven't played anywhere close to 60 minutes of good football. They haven't played a full game. And this is not a hollow 5-2 record. Like, they didn't play the Jets. They didn't play the Browns. They didn't play the Dolphins. They beat all these teams that I watch on ESPN and all the analysts on there on NFL Network and ESPN that say, this team's good, this team's good, this team's clearly a contender. They all have one thing in common. They've all lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. Tampa, Rams, Chiefs. They dropped the game to Denver, which they should have won. They were up 14 with whatever in the fourth quarter. They should have won that game, but they didn't. I mean, Dallas scores 40 points a game, but not when they're playing the Eagles. So it definitely half full.
Yeah. Les, what do you think?
Boy, that's really well said, Rob. I agree pretty much. I am maybe a little more concerned that they just can't get this going. I understand about the 8 in the box. The Vikings, though, were one of the worst run-stopping teams in the league, and you just didn't get any sense that after those first 3 runs of the game that the Eagles could gain a yard other than tush pushing. It does concern me, but I'll go along with half full. I understand what you're saying, and I think we really are going to have to see them throw the ball down the field to loosen this up. I mean, and do it really, really well the way they did it yesterday. And I don't know how you get some offensive rhythm. I don't think you can do it exactly like you did it yesterday. What I was saying earlier about, you're not going to get 3rd and 13 completions, out the wazoo. That's just not the way to play football. And but they're going to have to find a way without a dominant running game to get some rhythm in the offense and not be asking Jalen to perform miracles. But basically, yes, I think they're basically okay. I just want to see, you mentioned the play action yesterday, the under center stuff. Let's do some more, innovating and give the team some more things that maybe they weren't expecting.
Yeah, 100%. And and it's fine that we still didn't see like a ton of new things and like a ton of improvement because like we knew like it's not going to be like overnight, an overnight kind of overhaul. Like you have to see it progressively. So I thought this was a step in the right direction. In terms of the running game, like we had success in the first half. It's obviously, and just specifically that first drive, I think Toth being in there for Jurgens really did affect it because you're looking at there were several plays where Toth was just getting no push. He was getting pushed back. So I think Toth in there at center really derailed a bunch of those runs. And it's so unfortunate because like you talk about like, and that's I think Mailata said it before that on a good amount of these runs, they're just one block away. And you could absolutely see that. There were plays where it's just one block, but oftentimes against the Vikings, it was Toth. And
well, you mentioned the play call.
Start getting that block though, Chuck, because I'm sick of hearing that for 2 months. They're one block away from busting it. Like, okay, then
I hear you. My point is, I would be very critical if it was consistently one of the starters missing these blocks. And we've been critical, right? Jurgens, we've said we've been critical of them. We talked about Dickerson not being healthy and playing well. We mentioned Mailata. 100%. What I'm saying is it's Toth. So like no offense to Toth, but he's a reserve for a reason. And so I can't be mad at him necessarily for being a backup center who had to play most of the game. It is the situation that it is yesterday. But in general, if it's one of these starters, they have to start making these blocks 100%.
Was it you, Chux, or someone else on social media who pointed out that Toth's second snap, they had a run that required him to reach out to a defensive tackle who was like, it was like a really difficult
reach block. Yeah. It wasn't me, but I did see that. Yes.
God, I mean, what?
I think this offense has gotten used to having guys like Kelsey and Jurgens who can execute. They're athletic enough to execute those types of reach blocks often.
Oh, sure, yeah, but
you know
what just happened. You know who you've got in there. You didn't forget.
Yeah. It's tough. It's very, very tough. And I'm not trying to give him a pass, but I can understand what I'm saying. Like yesterday, just specifically yesterday, I can kind of understand why the run game kind of got derailed, because they did call more tosses. And I've been saying, for weeks now, run it more to the outside. And they did, with them going under center a lot, they did run a good amount of toss plays. So I can't go back and criticize them when they actually did what I was saying. The issue with that now with having Toth in there is that he can't execute those. He's not athletic enough to execute those blocks. So it's just like damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. And so that's why I can kind of understand yesterday the run game kind of falling off after the first possession. But thank God the passing game picked it up. So I do think it's going at some point, and I'm praying it's against the Giants on Sunday. So Saquon can get his kind of like his get back at them. But I do think at some point it's gonna click. I can't. Dickerson yesterday looked actually the best he's looked all year. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign that hey, Dickerson came back and he started to look pretty good. It's just so unfortunate Jurgens was out. So it is what it is, and hopefully Jurgens is back next week and it's not too bad of an injury. Anything else that you guys, because I did want to flip over to the defensive side and touch on the breaking news kind of from the past day or two. But did you guys have anything else on the offensive side?
Did you see the little creative way that Brian Flores tried to stop the tush push?
Yeah, I saw. I don't think he was the first one to do. I feel like someone else did that.
Really? The sideways business?
Yeah. I could have sworn last year
almost worked.
A team
didn't get that.
For one, I think it was like one play. A team tried to do the side. Why do I feel like it was the Chiefs?
I don't know.
But I
think that leaves you wide open. I'm not any kind of great maven of these things, but then you just don't have to run it in there. You can run, I mean, you're giving away a player basically. You're playing 11 on 10 at that point. I'm not sure that's going to really. Yeah,
you're not going to have to worry about it past this. They're going to ban it. They're going to ban it in the offseason.
Yeah. Although if you watched the 49ers last night, Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown where the guard gets into the end zone. McCaffrey is stopped.
Yeah.
And the guard just grabs him and pulls him into the end zone.
I think
it's supposedly against the rules. There actually is a rule against that.
Yeah. You can't do that. Yep. You can't do that. I forget who on Sunday Night Football, I forget who the official that they tune into. I forget, but he had said that's against the rules. It should have been called. So, call it. But it's just really funny. To just quickly finish the tangent, they're going to change the rule so that you can't push players anymore in the system. There are so many other plays outside of the tush push are no longer going to be able to be done now, because we see it almost every Sunday where a ball carrier is stopped and they're pushing him. They're pushing the pile, and that's going to go out the window. So
it's frustrating though, because the tush push isn't successful because I guess it's a part of it for sure. But it's not an unstoppable play for the Philadelphia Eagles because the guys behind are pushing them. Does it help? Probably, but clearly they work on it from a blocking standpoint.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is a very, very strong in his lower half.
Yeah.
I was watching the Ravens and the Rams a few weeks ago. The Ravens tried to do 3 straight tush pushes with their tight end. They didn't get one of them.
You didn't get one. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I remember.
So like this notion that it's not a fair play, and how come everyone can't do it then? Only the Eagles can do it.
100%. And I think
Brady did it. Brady did it for 20 years.
Yeah, he did it. That's why I think, Rob, I'm done like being so mad about wanting it banned, because after they ban it, I still think the Eagles are going to have a very high percentage conversion rate still. Maybe not like as high as now, but it's still going to be higher than most teams because they still can operate a sneak very, very, very well. Like, so I'm not worried about it. And it's going to be funny seeing us still be successful on these QB sneaks, and the league can't do anything about it because the tush push is banned. So now, you handcuff yourself even more. So I'm done trying to be mad about it. Just ban it, and it's not going to really affect us that much. I really don't think so. But so flipping over to the defensive side, right? Let's lead it off with this, the big news. All right. And I have my 2 cents on this, but I'll let you guys go first. BG. I think we had a commenter in here. Chrome. Hey, what's up, fellas? BG is back. Yes. He is expected to come out of retirement and sign back and come back. So yeah, just your thoughts, guys. Yeah, Les, start with you. Well, what your initial reactions to the news?
First, a sort of ephemeral, tangential thing. BG, being all about business, is going to announce this on his PHLY podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a big
Which I just think is hilarious. Like, he doesn't have enough money. He wants to make sure the podcast does well. But my only concern here, I think it can't hurt, right? What could it hurt? What could it hurt having Brandon Graham? Even if he's just there to lead and boost morale and plays 5 snaps a game, it can't hurt anything. Mm-hmm. My concern is that people are going to get too caught up in this and to expect too much of it. This is a 37-year-old man who's had 2 bad muscle tears in the last year. He's not going to transform their pass rush or anything. He might set the edge a little better than Jihad Campbell did yesterday. But, hilarious to me, by the way. I'll go off on another tangent. Vic can't use Bryce Huff because he couldn't set the edge. Well, now he's got Jihad Campbell out there who's basically Bryce Huff as a pass rusher, but anyway, and Bryce Huff is, although he's hurt now, Bryce Huff's sacking people for the 49ers. But
yeah.
Oh, well. BG is not going to play 40 snaps a game. He's not going to get a bunch of sacks and change everything for the defense. It might take a few weeks. It'll probably be after the bye when he actually plays, I would guess. And if he gets 10 snaps and they look decent, that'll be great as far as I'm concerned. But they need help, though. And the help is going to have to come from somewhere else, which I guess is my bottom line. This is an emergency move. It's to stop. This is a tourniquet. It's not a cure.
Yeah. To stop the big. Yeah. Brings your thoughts.
I kind of agree with Les. Zadarius Smith really threw him a curveball.
Yes.
That was a tough loss, yeah.
Picking up and just leaving. And he was being effective, too.
Yeah.
And no one understands what the hell happened there. But go ahead, Rob.
It's going to be good for the locker room. It's going to be like everybody likes him. He retired because he was old and just felt like it was time to move on. Like, he wasn't a bad player last year. He suffered an injury and came back, and I guess to just preserve his life post-football decided to hang it up. But from a production standpoint, he was still a serviceable NFL player.
The game he got hurt on, he got injured at, he was tearing it up. It was the Rams game, remember? Like that was his best game of the year. I forget if he had multiple sacks, but he definitely was like on fire that game, and then he got hurt. So, yeah, but continue.
But I mean, they need something. I would still be exploring the trade market ahead of the deadline.
Yes.
The deadline is coming up, I believe.
November 4th.
November 4th. Thank you. Yeah. This is not. You need BG to give you some competent snaps, and you probably need to get really a body in here because Chad Campbell, like you said, that didn't work out on the edge. He can't set the edge in the NFL. He's a linebacker. So those pipe dreams that people like myself had that he could maybe help out when Nakobe Dean is back now. So that's probably why they tried it. Like that, they tried it. Cool, thank you, but no.
Well, you could do it on 3rd and 15, but
yeah, exactly. Well,
you can do it in spots, but I mean, Nolan Smith will be back, which is good. He'll be back for the Packers. He's eligible to come back for the Packers game after the bye. So that's another potential reinforcement. But yeah, I would still be looking. Like when your lead sacker is Moro Ojamo, a defensive tackle, and he only has 3, that doesn't work.
It's not good.
Yeah. You need someone on the edge that is gonna get after the quarterback and
they seem to lose one every week. Ojulari got hurt.
Yeah, my God.
He's barely played. It was like
I know he played well against
the backup quarterback gets hurt. How did he get hurt?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Brinkman in the chat. Bradley Chubb from Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be selling at the deadline. That team is horrendous.
Yeah,
horrendous.
Yeah. We'll get to some trade targets after this, but with the BG thing, I'm like. I have like mixed feelings. I agree with everything you guys said from a positive standpoint in terms of he comes back. He's not a bad player by any means. At least like last year he wasn't. So you're getting like a solid rotational edge player who can come in and still contribute in some degree, 100%, like in some degree as a rotation. And I think that the biggest impact he'll make is the locker room, 100%. And everyone knows the type of leader he is and how he comes in and sets like the vibe and the tone for that defense. So I 100% agree with that. I think just from my mixed feelings come from the fan standpoint of, I love BG so much. He's one of my favorite all-time Eagles. Like, how can you not? Like, he's an icon. I just loved that he was able to win the Super Bowl and then have like that kind of like fairy tale sending off. That's where it all comes from. I love that for him, and I would hate. I just, and maybe it's selfish as a fan. Like, I 100% I admit that. But like I think about Jason Kelce's last year during that collapse, right? Yeah. And it breaks my heart that was his last year. That was the last we saw of Jason Kelce was during that collapse. I would hate, and I'm not gonna win. I'm not saying and like this season's going to collapse. What I'm saying is it's almost impossible to one up a Super Bowl send off, as your curtain call. It's very hard to really one up on that, and I want that for him. But hey, if things still pan out well, then yeah, sure. I'm glad. I just worry for him that it's not. I want a better ending for him.
Yeah. I don't know that I agree with you, but I don't know that that's what you really remember. I mean, he still played in 3 Super Bowls and won 2.
Yeah.
I think that's what 15 years from now people will talk about, not so much, well, you tried to come back that one year, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree. And I'll tell you what, when I first heard about this a week or so ago,
Mm.
what I was hearing was that Howie wanted this, and BG was kind of like, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
But maybe I heard the wrong. I didn't hear this
Okay.
directly from BG or anything, but he was pretty happy to be retired. I think. By the way, I did ask Kelsey yesterday, and he said no. He said he's lost so much weight he can't.
Oh, you're saying if Kelsey would come back?
Yeah, no, he can't. I mean, it would be at this point, which one do you really need more?
With all due respect to Brandon Graham and what he's doing off the field, like Jason Kelsey is killing it off the field.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God!
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, the only one who has a more popular podcast than the Kelsey brothers is Joe Rogan, I think.
Yeah,
it's yeah. Have you seen the guests that they're getting on? Like, I think like a couple weeks ago they had Keanu Reeves. I'm like,
yeah, I think it's the Pope this week.
Oh geez. So yeah, so Jason Kelsey's doing fine off the field. Yeah, it's funny you say that, Les, because I mean, it just would have been my guess, my assumption. I would have thought that this would have stemmed from BG initiating it. I would have thought, like, BG wants to play, and part of that is also because of what Kelsey said. When was it on the pod or forget where else? But like he was asked, or he talked about how BG never really wanted to retire. He was just kind of told to retire, right? And so,
well, I didn't know that he said that, and maybe that's the case. But I sure thought BG was like that last year was like maybe I mean he didn't. He almost retired the year before, and he gave it one more year.
Yeah, I remember.
I kind of thought he was, after he got hurt, that he was pretty at peace with the idea of retiring as long as he got to play in the Super Bowl. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I don't.
I do think from Howie's perspective, it's a no-brainer. It's not going to cost a lot of money. He knows the defense. He will help to some extent. He's not going to not help. I mean, I think it would be a very easy trigger for Howie to pull.
Yes.
He doesn't have to get back in shape and get hit all the time.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, those are our thoughts on BG. Let us know. Like, I know Greg's also kind of like a negative Nancy. So he's out on BG coming back. It'll help it'll help the locker room, sure, but doubt it makes any impact on the field. That being said, we can't get any worse on the edge right now, and
yes, that's exactly right.
Yep. So yeah, 100%. So let's go into this now. Even with, and I know you alluded to it, Brinks. BG's back, but the trade deadline is still approaching. I agree with you guys. I still would like them to trade for another edge player. But let's rattle. Are there any names that kind of, and it doesn't have to be edge. I'm just like in general now. Like, are there any names out there that that's kind of on your wish list of who you want the Eagles to target? So, Brinks, we'll start with you.
I mean, Bradley Chubb is a good name.
Mm-hmm.
That would help. I'm actually looking at an article right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't think anything like Trey Hendrickson or
no,
I don't know.
I don't
know what the Raiders' plans are with Max Crosby, but I doubt he would get dealt. So I don't know, but Howie's no. To answer the question, no, I don't have a specific target in mind. Bradley Chubb seems to be realistic. He's
that type of thing, yeah.
Younger player. Trey Hendrickson is really old. He's at the tail end of his career. Miami stinks, and that might be so that I guess that, and I would put edge rush as the top priority. I know a lot of people have concerns with cornerback, but I think they can skate by as long as Quinyon Mitchell continues to be elite with a subpar second corner, and Coop played a lot outside. Cooper DeJean played outside at least some yesterday. He had a nice break up on Justin Jefferson in the end zone.
Yeah.
I think that if they don't do anything at corner, it will be fine. But if you get a pass rush, like that makes your secondary look a lot better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Bradley Chubb would be my target.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to swing for Max Crosby makes a lot of money as well, so I don't know how that would fit with the cap and things like that. Obviously, that's a big time name and would obviously help 31 other teams because he doesn't seem to be helping the Raiders win any games. That's for sure. They stink too. It's always the same teams that just stink every year.
It often is, yes.
Yep.
But
okay, sorry, go ahead.
no, they're going to have to do something. Yep. They got to get a body.
Yeah.
Like,
at least you can.
They need to have active players that play defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do something.
Yeah.
Agree. Les, what do you think? Any names that pop out to you?
I would look for guys that have played for Fangio in the past.
Bradley Chubb.
Chubb is obviously right at the top of that list. But I don't know. I didn't know we were going to do this. So I didn't really prepare a list. I know I was reading a thing Jimmy Kempski wrote about, and this isn't a guy who's played for Fangio, but there was a guy with the Falcons who's been displaced by the people they brought in. Arnold, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
Ebba Katibi or whatever. How do you pronounce that? I don't know.
It's like, Ebba. I'm gonna look it up. Yeah.
But he's not gonna set the world on fire. But he's a live body who's young live body who's maybe they would like to get something for him. I guess his contract is going to be up this year. Yeah, and that's worth checking in on. I guess. I mean, I don't know that you're gonna be able to make some huge splashy move that's going to solve everything. That's not the way it typically goes. Once in a while, you get a Jay Ajayi at the trade deadline, but a lot of times you don't. A lot of times you just have to take somebody who might be a little bit of help here and there and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's pronounced Ebikadi. I always am tempted to put a different pronunciation on that one E, but it's Ebikadi. The pronunciation. How you do that? He would be lower on my list. But I understand. I did read Kempski's article, and he's the one name I was probably the least interested in. But I can understand that. I can understand.
Then who are you thinking of?
So I did agree somewhat. I'm kind of lukewarm on the Cam Taylor Britt suggestion. If you're gonna go corner, I'm lukewarm on that. It's not really. He's not really the Fangio type, so he's not physical and not a good tackler and all that. But I mean, you're getting desperate here if you're looking at corner. If you're not happy with, it's not like Ringo or Dory Jackson are great tacklers either. So you're kind of you're nitpicking or you're trying to really just get someone else. I mean, looking at corner, I still am holding out hope on. Jacorian Bennett. So
yes,
when they go back, I still think he should be the guy.
I think that's more likely than you're going to bring in a corner that's going to, really move the needle. I think
exactly. So
they've already traded for a guy. They traded a 4th rounder for him,
something like that. Yeah, D3 pick, 5, I think. So there's that. But if you're talking about edge rusher, Bradley Chubb is an obvious name. 100% agree with that. I am looking also at the 2 guys on the Jets, the other 0-16, the 0-6 team. Talking about Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson. I would absolutely.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
I would take either one of them. I don't know how much in sell mode they are because I know they're trying to still build something. You know what I mean with Aaron Glenn, even though it's not going well on the defensive side. But if they are looking to move either one of them, I would gladly take either one of them. So those 3 edge players are the guys that I kind of primarily have my eye on. The big names like Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby, I don't really expect. I'm with you. It's not realistic. I know everyone wants to say them, but yeah.
This article also mentioned Matthew Judon. He's on the Dolphins.
He's on the Dolphins. Yeah, I can see that.
That's like the type of guy.
A few years ago, he was one of my favorite players, but now,
he kind of fell off last year remember when he signed with the Falcons and he fell off. So I hear
if you're a healthy scratch for the Dolphins.
That's something that's saying a lot.
You're like, man, like, you're healthy and can play, but we don't need you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's like what you're gonna get because I don't see him. I don't see Howie giving up much trade capital at the deadline.
Right.
I don't see it either. Yeah, and like Nolan Smith is coming back, so it's like you have reinforcements coming now. Was Nolan Smith like playing out of his mind or anything like that? No, but I mean,
he was playing pretty well.
He was playing well, yeah. So
he was setting the edge against the run.
Exactly,
he could actually do that, and he's not a huge guy, but he
exactly. Yeah, because he plays with so much good leverage. Yeah, leverage and momentum. He plays with, so like it's really really good. Robert Gilchrist to say McDonald's Iowa State boy was a beast. Yeah, and then Pumper says we're getting Nolan Smith back and that's it. So he doesn't put anything else. Yeah. Andrew Baker says we need defensive help. Jalen Carter currently has 6 solo tackles and 0 sacks. I'm not looking at the sacks thing with Jalen Carter. He's getting penetration. He's like,
if you saw the interception yesterday, I mean that
he killed Carson Wentz.
If this was hockey, he would get the first assist on that interception.
Exactly. And he's constant. If you don't see now, if there's one thing to kind of like nitpick with him or like criticize him on this year, when he's constantly getting double teamed, there are times where you can see him get frustrated and not maybe give full effort, but like he's constantly getting double teamed or held. So like it's it's understandable. I don't think Carter is playing bad, and I'm not judging him on sacks. So he's getting, when he gets one-on-ones, he's wrecking games. So Bumper says Howie's never training anything higher than a third.
I agree.
I'm looking at the poor safety play. Reed and Makuba have
they've not been horrific.
I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, Makuba had a huge missed tackle yesterday.
Yeah,
he also had an interception, and
he's not a tackle guy. He's not a thumper at safety. He's got ball skills. He's smaller, he's athletic.
He's a rookie.
You can't, when they throw a 3-yard out to Justin Jefferson, you can't turn it into a 50-yard play because you can't tackle the guy.
Yeah. And remember, there was another game. Here where it was. I know outside of the Giants game, because we know about that missed tackle. Yeah. But there was another game where he missed a tackle and went for a big play. I feel like it was against the Chiefs, but I don't remember. But like Makuba is a rookie. He's gonna have moments like this, but he's also had some pretty impressive moments. So I push back on the Makuba kind of like thing, but what I push,
and Blankenship hasn't been horrific.
I don't understand.
An undrafted guy of very limited physical skills who has really done well. He's a starting quality NFL safety. He's not an all-pro or anything like that.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. I mean, you're not going to have the best player at every position.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with Blankenship. You can win with Blankenship. They won the Super Bowl with Blankenship.
I don't understand it. Like there's apparently this growing sentiment or narrative online of fans saying Blankenship's been bad. I don't where he hasn't been bad. Okay, so Pemper says Reed is a 78th ranked safety in the NFL. I am about to go off. Okay, are you basing this? Please don't tell me you're basing this off of PFF grades.
No.
Please don't tell me. I am. Y'all know how I feel about PFF grades.
They suck.
Please do not tell me you're trying to base it off PFF grades, because this is.
Chris Long had some words on that subject last week.
They put it at the bottom of Sunday Night Football because didn't Chris Collinsworth invent it?
No, he didn't invent it. He bought the company.
He's like the main.
He's the boss of it, basically.
Yeah, he is. So Chris Long, Chris Long was the latest person that has criticized PFF.
Chris Long was looking at their quarterback rankings and saw where they had
Mahomes 32. It's And then I think earlier this year, Steve Spagnuolo called them out during a press conference. Last year, Saquon called them out during his interview with the Pivot. There was another. J.J. Watt has called them out several times. I like PFF for their stats and their analytics, the data that they provide. I think that stuff is awesome that they give. But when it comes to their grades, it's so bad. And Greg, to your point, like what makes it even worse is that it's pushed onto us as if it's gospel. That's the other thing I can't.
It's not a stat. A lot of the analytics stuff they do is factual based. These grades are not. These grades are subjective.
So subjective, and it's so flawed. It is so flawed. Like it's
them giving some guy a grade is like me saying I give the Eagles special teams a C- yesterday. So what? It's not. I don't have any empirical evidence to back that up. That's how I feel. And those grades are kind of how they feel.
Yeah, their grading process it's flawed. I know that I follow some people that work at PFF, and they've kind of like, I know, like one of them is Trevor Sycamore. I've been a Trevor Sycamore fan since he was on Locked On NFL Draft. So like he's a smart guy, but he has gone on social media and explained in as much detail as he can the process of it. But even when he does, I'm still like, I don't agree with that process. There's stuff that you're missing. And to be able to because they grade on like a point scale, it's like -2, -1, 0, 1, or 2. And like, it's just look it up so I don't have to explain the whole thing. But it's just, I don't agree with it. And so I am always going to push back and say, please do not send over PFF grades as part of your argument. I will shut you off. Because I do not.
You look at the thing on Sunday Night Football. They ram it down your throat.
They ram it down your throat. Oh my god!
You look at a team. You look at a team like, okay, they're 6-2, and all their PFF grades are like 50th out of for all that. How are they 5-2 then if all their guys stink on PFF? How does that work? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't understand. Yeah.
Then you look at it Darrelle Revis, she's the 14th best cornerback according to PFF. How come I haven't seen anyone catch a pass on him in 2 years?
Yeah. It's bad.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. So I hear you. And my fight against PFF grades will continue on until they put me in the ground. So anything else you guys want to bring up before we close shop?
I really hope the run game thing doesn't morph into people thinking Barkley is somehow a problem or that he's not. There are people that don't know what they're watching, and there's nothing wrong with Saquon Barkley. He's fine. He's getting tackled when he takes the ball. And that's really not. Nobody's gonna. This is why he struggled those last few years in New York. He hasn't changed. No, it's the blocking that's changed. Let's be clear on that.
I agree. 100%.
That's probably my last my thought for the evening.
Brinks, anything from you?
Interesting game coming up on Sunday. Obviously, the Giants they whooped the Eagles pretty good on Thursday Night Football a few weeks ago, so they're going to be out for revenge.
Mm-hmm.
If someone can explain to me how the New York Giants lost yesterday, that would be cool.
Kicker missing 2 extra points, basically, and the defense just.
And then they're throwing it. They got the rookie throwing it, and he throws it right to the linebacker,
under the skies coverage.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting because Jackson Dart's really good, really
playing really well so far.
He's good at some things. I think the Eagles, if they stop the run, which huge
that
problem,
would take away a lot.
That Jackson Dart isn't going to throw for 400 yards and beat you that way, but we'll see.
We'll see.
It'll be interesting if the Giants are tuned in after getting their hearts ripped out like that.
Yeah, Brinks. I'll say this because I know when we did our preseason predictions, And I was with you. You had predicted the Giants to win second in the division because you saw like the potential there. And I was like, I had said I still put them at third behind the Commanders, but I can see a possibility. I can see a scenario where that plays out because if their defensive line balls out like they're supposed to,
Yeah.
and if they start their rookie early, and he plays like he did in the preseason, oh yeah, they can get second. They can get second in the division.
I mean, I know it's not, but like they should have started Jackson Dart against the Chiefs in Week 3 for their home opener.
They should have never had Russell Wilson in there.
They
should have never had Russell Wilson in there from the beginning. I'm just gonna say,
Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards against the Cowboys.
Against the Cowboys, that's fair. That is fair. That is fair. That is 100% fair. You're right. You're right. All right, gentlemen. Great talk. Great stuff. All of us, all those who tuned in to watch us, thank you so much. Again, if you want some more Eagles coverage, Eagles talk, Pete and I will be on Film Don't Lie. That will come up Wednesday morning at 8:30. We'll dive deep into the film, give you some film shots, and talk about what exactly the offense did so well to get back on track. And then we'll also talk about another game. I think we're going to talk about that Broncos-Giants game and what happened at the end, and dissect it on film as also kind of like a semi-preview to the Eagles-Giants game. So tune in to Film Don't Lie on Wednesday morning. Thank you for our sponsor, Baggio's Bread. Again, mention ATD Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. For myself, for Brinks, and our good friend Les Bowen. We will see you next week, hopefully after another Eagles win, this time over the hated New York Giants. But until then, God bless, peace out, and go Birds. See you guys.
Yes.